Hey, Sarah. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can.
Okay, sweet. All right, I'm going to start admitting people in, and we're recording now. So I'll get the ball rolling.
Yay, am I close enough?
Yeah, yep, good view.
Cool. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good to be here. I'm glad I could make it in the end.
Awesome. How exciting. This is my first Zoom.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, good, cool.
It's so cool. I love it.
Yeah, I had to get Ben to help me set it up.
Hi.
There's Judy.
Oh no, can you see me?
I can see you.
I thought I'd only be able to see you.
Hi, Layla.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, babe.
You guys.
Hey everyone.
Hi, babe. How are you?
Good, how's everyone?
You're looking great. I wish I looked that good.
Is it organic?
Yeah, organic. No chemicals.
Oh, thanks. Excellent.
Oh, I can hear you, Beth. Welcome.
Oh, shit. Sorry. You can hear me. I thought I was on mute. Sorry. Hang on, I'll just mute myself.
Oh, good.
So guys, I'm just admitting people in. We'll just wait a couple of minutes for more people to join, and then we'll get started. So anyone that's on here, if you can mute your microphones except for Sarah.
How do we do that, babe?
Yeah, I'll say, luckily I don't know
How do we do that?
There should be a little button down the bottom of the screen that says mute.
Oh yeah, okay.
And we could always do questions at the end, or if people want to interact, they can let you know.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, there's a little message thing that they can write messages in as well.
Oh, sweet.
Ooh, more people coming. Okay, so I will keep an eye on who else is popping in here and keep letting them in, but we'll get started for now. So hello everyone, thank you so much for coming today to hear Sarah's interview. This is very exciting and something I've wanted to do for a very long time. So my name's Tiff. I'm a health coach and occupational therapist, and I mainly work with women with anxiety, gut issues, and negative body image. And I would like to introduce Sarah. Actually, first of all, I want to say that this is an interview and it is based on Sarah's own personal healing journey, and there may be snippets of mine as well. And this is not medical advice. And also this is being recorded. So if you don't wish to have your video up on the screen, then please turn it off, because it will be uploaded to YouTube on the end for other people to watch.
Do you have to tell them how to do that, Tiff?
With the video?
Just how to turn it off but still listen?
Yeah, there should just be a little video button that says stop video at the bottom of the screen. So you can just press that and then you can still hear us and your name will just be on the screen. But the names don't appear in the recording, just so you know. Okay, so I'd love to introduce Sarah now. So Sarah is a plant-based advocate, a health coach, a raw vegan chef, and she is also the owner of New Earth Cafe and New Earth Meta Yoga and Healing Center. I met Sarah a few years ago at the beginning of my own healing journey, and Sarah played a really big, significant role in my healing journey, and I do not know where I would be if I had not met her. Sarah is a wealth of knowledge in regards to health and has gone on to learn more and more about the healing process and to help others heal from different chronic diseases. And for those of you that know her, she is an incredible woman and has so much to share. So I'm so excited to be interviewing you today, Sarah.
Yay, thanks, Tiff. Hello, everyone. Thanks for taking the time to listen to our chat and hopefully get inspired. And it's all about just really listening to our own bodies and feeling the best we can, thriving, not just, surviving. So that's what I aim to do every day, is like, what else can I do to feel amazing? What else can I add into my life that's going to support me and help me to live my best life and do everything that I want to do here on earth and never be tired.
So Sarah, can you please tell us about your healing journey and where did this all begin? Why did you get into all this different health stuff?
Yeah, so a few things happened about almost 11 years ago now. I was very lucky to be raised by a Swiss mum, and so I think she had a few alternative ideas already. So she told me all about good water and bad water and organic fruits and vegetables, and she taught me a lot about homeopathy and essential oils, and we had a beautiful garden. We lived in New Zealand, but I think from there already I was open to a lot more ideas than I guess my husband Ben. And when I met Ben, he had a heart condition and I had a collapsed lung when I was 18. I'd been in a big car accident, and I just, every year, as soon as someone would start coughing around me, I'd get huge anxiety because I would keep getting lung infections, and I just didn't feel strong. I felt really vulnerable, very weak. I kind of drifted off the path a little. My mum was very good, and she always prepared beautiful home-cooked meals for us, and she really gave me a really great foundation. I wasn't allowed packaged processed foods. I wasn't just allowed to ever go to McDonald's or anything like that. And I did have a good foundation, but I guess when I turned 18, I just did what everyone likes to do. I left home and I got my first apartment and I ate whatever I wanted to eat, and I drank alcohol and I tried all sorts of drugs. And by the time I had my car crash, my body just wasn't strong enough to heal. And so the last 11 years have just been that returning to I guess a lot of the things that my mum shared with me when I was younger, and learning to return back to nature. And so with the lung infection, after at least 20 rounds of antibiotics over a couple of years, I just didn't feel like I had any hope. I didn't feel like it was ever going to get any better. Every doctor that I went to, I would say, what about if I drink more water? Would that help? No. What about if I took, some like heaps more vitamin C, or got vitamin C infusions? No, that wouldn't help. Your lungs are weak. Your lungs are never going to really get better. You've, 6 ribs sliced my lungs. So they collapsed, and they were collapsed for 3 months. And so having Ben with a heart condition and having me with this lung condition really pushed me to finding my own answers. And I was very lucky to find the Gerson Therapy very pretty much right at the start of my healing journey, and it just made so much sense. So if any of you are interested, just go onto YouTube and listen to Charlotte Gerson. She did pass away last year, but she's got so many videos and so much helpful information online. And so I guess I just really started reading, and I would read this book and that book and watch this documentary and then that documentary, and I started to understand how much damage I had done with all these normal everyday things that I was doing. And I really could see everything that was compromising my immune system, and then I wasn't really doing enough to support it. And it's all about that returning back to your body. It has so much strength, and it's so intelligent, and it's so strong when we give it the right things. But you know, if we continue to weaken it daily, it's really hard to get well and to feel good and to not have any chronic illnesses and conditions. So that was my journey of going plant-based, and then looking at water, and then looking
so
into
what can you tell us a little bit more about the Gerson therapy and what specific principles you used from the Gerson therapy to help heal your lung infection?
Yep. So one of the first things we did is we bought a Norwalk juicer, which they recommend, which was a big investment. I had to use my mum's credit card. It was almost $4,500, a stainless steel unit that has a warranty of 12 years. And when I told Ben I was buying that, he just thought that was the most crazy thing ever. Almost cost the same amount as my car. So, but we got that. And what Charlotte Gerson says is there's two things that make us ill: toxicity and deficiency. So the reason why I got the juice machine is so that I could get all of the deficiencies, all the things I was lacking, I could get all that goodness back into my body. And so through juicing, after reading the book, I really understood that I couldn't eat 2 kilos of carrots, but I could juice 2 kilos of carrots. I couldn't eat 10 apples, but I could juice 10 apples. And the fiber is removed. The machine's a cold press machine, so you don't destroy any of the nutrients. And then the fiber, the 1 ton press presses and extracts the juice from the fiber. So also you're not having to digest and use your digestive strength. You're flooding the body with all of these amazing nutrients, and it's kind of as quick as alcohol goes into the bloodstream. So that was one of the first things that we did, and really quickly we noticed much more energy, but we also noticed a lot more pimples. We noticed boils on Ben's back. There was a lot of boils, there was a lot of rashes. And so that sort of brought us on to the next thing, which were the coffee enemas, which is also a big part of Charlotte Gerson's, Max Gerson's method, actually, her father's method. And so the coffee enemas deal with the second problem. So toxicity, deficiency. Deficiency, we drink the juice, we eat all the beautiful organic plant-based foods, we try and eat a variety, we get a lot of different things from every single vegetable, we try to really expand the diet. And then we have to do the enemas to get rid of the toxicity. So we give the body the power through the juices and the good food, but then the liver's just like, help, like, what do I do? And I didn't notice it as much, but with Ben, I'd never seen a pimple on his back, and he had boils. And yeah, so looking forward to one day when you interview him and he can talk all about that. But he just had a lot of boils coming up and a lot of acne. And as soon as he started the coffee enemas, within a week or two, they would go. If he got a rash on his face, he would do an enema, the rash would disappear. He got a headache, a migraine, he felt nauseous, he would do an enema, that would disappear. So for me, there was no need to convince me, because right in front of my eyes, instantly it made sense. And I was just like so amazed at the power of the body and how powerful these were. So coffee enemas, you do put something up your bum. You have to lie on your right side. There's a special way to prepare it. All of this can be found on the Gerson Therapy's website. I highly recommend buying Charlotte Gerson's book, Healing the Gerson Way, about $35. All of the protocols in there, what you can eat, what you can't eat, the juicer, how to make the juices, how to do the enemas. But basically, so an enema every day, at least sometimes up to 3 or 4, sometimes even more, really depending. For me, it was a lot less. For Ben, it was a lot more. He was a lot more toxic. And then the third thing we did was we went around the whole house and we thought, okay, this is toxic, that's toxic, dishwashing liquids, shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, deodorants. Like, what am I using that is not natural? What can I not eat? What can't I put into my mouth that I'm putting on my skin? And that was pretty huge because I loved, you know, like put some nail polish on, put some makeup on. I used to dye my hair. There was all these things that I was doing that I didn't understand were compromising and breaking down my immunity every single day, every single moment. You know, I was health coaching a client last week and I said to her, so like, how many things do we do each day to support the body and how many things do we do each day to break it down? So I get up and I use a fluoridated toothpaste. I'm whacking fluoride into my mouth first thing, good morning. You know, that's rat poison. So that's the first thing I do. Then I wash it or I drink town water. There's, you know, could be 140 new chemicals added into the body. And then if I'm not using shampoos and soaps that are organic and natural, then I'm lathering that onto my skin. And it just goes on, doesn't it? Like, and so that was a big thing for me. So, you know, the juices, the clean eating, the enemas, and removing everything that was toxic out of my life. And then, you know, it sounds like overwhelming and a lot, and it definitely wasn't a thing that I did the first day to the next. It took time, but every time I did something, I noticed I was improving. I was getting stronger. I was feeling better. I started to trust my body. I was so scared. If someone would come into the room and would cough, I would freeze because I could already see the next month of having to take antibiotics. You know, I was so worried about my lungs. I was so scared that I was just going to feel rotten for the next month. And so like now, if you cough, I'll just give you a big hug. I feel so strong. I know I haven't had a lung infection in 10 years. I know I'm not ever going to get one ever again. I also did one last thing for my lungs specifically, and that was 5 days of drinking organic orange juice and doing enemas. And that was my greatest healing reaction that I personally experienced. So I got the book Healing Lung Disease off the Gerson Therapy's website. It was $4.95, and I drank the orange juice for the 5 days. And I did the enemas, and that was amazing for me. I have never had a lung infection since. So after that, you couldn't shut me up. Every single person that had something, I was like, you need to get this book. You need to do this. You shouldn't be eating that. You know, I think a lot of people deleted me off Facebook. A lot of my old friends thought I had absolutely lost the plot. So I guess I've really calmed that down now, and I only share when people ask.
Yeah.
But it was so exciting for me because I felt better than I had felt for 4 or 5 years. And now I truly believe as we get older, we don't have to feel bad. We can feel amazing. And that's just such a blessing.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to say something on the, you know, coffee enema front as well. Like, you know, it was very foreign to me. I'd read about it, heard about it, but didn't know that I would be doing it. And I remember when I met Sarah, and she's, you know, I was on medication for ulcerative colitis, a bowel condition. And one of the things Sarah recommended that I try was coffee enemas. And I remember feeling really anxious about starting it. But to this day, I think it's 5 years. It's been 5 years, and to this day, I still do them. They still have a huge benefit on my health. And yeah, I within 3.5 weeks of making some really big changes, I was off my medication for ulcerative colitis, and I think that coffee enemas had a really big impact on that, and that, you know, they played a really big role. And I also remember, Sarah, when you mentioned about throwing or, you know, looking through what products and things I was using, it's definitely something that we don't all think about. And we're putting this stuff on our skin and, you know, in our mouths all the time, and we're absorbing that into our system. And I remember just chucking one day getting home from the New Earth Cafe and chucking everything in a bag. And I had this big bag and, you know, Mecca Cosmetics and all this expensive makeup. And I just thought, that's it. I have to let it go. And yeah, got rid of it. And that was it. And I've never gone back. So
yeah. And it's actually, it's so interesting when you drop all those products, how your skin starts to glow more, because really having beautiful skin, I always thought was about applying the most expensive cream to my face. And that's kind of what I learned, you know, not really from my mum, but just from even watching TV. It was like, if you get this, put this on. If you get that, put that on. And once I dropped it all and started drinking good, clean water, I never had any issues with my skin anymore. And so I was really proud to, you know, to go out in the day, because I had so much acne when I was growing up, and it was so sad that I had just been doing the wrong thing all those years. And as soon as I stopped, I just wanted to share that with everyone as well, because it's so amazing. You can really see how healthy someone is because they just have a glow, and it's because their tummy's happy, you know, the liver's happy, and they're not putting poisons into the body, and they're not suppressing.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about water, because I think that this is something that we're not taught in school, we're not educated on in the media. I had no idea that tap water contained chlorine and fluoride, and, you know, amongst so many other harmful chemicals. So tell us a little bit about what you changed with water and what type of water you drink now.
So the Gerson Therapy, the book, was literally my Bible. And so everything comes from there. So in there, it says you need to drink distilled water. And my mum had studied nursing. And as soon as I told my mum that we were going to get a distillation unit and we were going to start drinking distilled water, she was really shocked. And she said, don't drink distilled water. It leaches minerals from your body. You'll die within a week if you drink that. Like, it's not good for you at all. And it's true. If you go online and you have a look, there's not much positive information on there. But I thought, you know what? Charlotte Gerson's been right about everything so far. And it makes a lot of sense to me. And also, if we look at distilled water, so distillation basically means that we heat water, we turn it to steam, and then using a distillation unit, we recondense that water back. So the steam rises and most of the chemicals stay at the bottom. And then there's a carbon filter to catch, I think it's 16 to 18% of man-made chemicals rise. And so then you get this pure water. And there's a few really important reasons why we drink distilled water. So for the coffee enemas, we need distilled water because it has a negative charge. And anyone who's interested, I'm happy to share an ebook with them. So they can just send me an email and we'll put that information down below and you can read it for yourself. So it has a negative charge. Therefore, it's able to pull any inorganic minerals which have a positive charge out of the body. So when I started helping people, health coaching, who had gallbladder stones and kidney stones, they would just get so many stones start coming out and they would be soft enough to pass. There's calcification that comes out. There's so much that when you drink the right water, the water's able to go through your body and really clean it. Another reason why we drink distilled water is because it contains no inorganic minerals. And there's a really big difference with organic minerals and inorganic minerals. So inorganic minerals, plants love because they can convert the inorganic mineral into an organic mineral. So where we have a tree, it sends its roots down into the earth, it drinks up that inorganic minerals in the water, and it's able to convert that for us into an organic mineral. So the fruit is distilled water with organic minerals that our bodies can assimilate. However, when we drink spring water that contains minerals, they don't write inorganic, but they are all inorganic. What actually happens is we start to calcify and we start to get aches and pains and joint pain. We can get little acid crystals forming in the body. We can get kidney stones, gallbladder stones, all that sort of stuff. We even get cellulite. We can get varicose veins. So we get hardening of the arteries. Everything that is inorganic in the body is not useful to the body. So that for me was like a big aha moment. And so distilled water contains no inorganic minerals. It contains no minerals. It's pure H2O. It's able to come into the body to clean the body, but it's also able to penetrate the cells with nutrition because it has a negative charge. So really important, it is not pH perfect. It is not alkaline. Water on planet Earth that we have been drinking for millions of years has to be acidic. All the food that we eat is alkaline. So I don't want to dilute my digestive strength. If I got stomach acid and tipped it onto my hand, it would burn a hole in there. And so I need that strength, that acidity in the stomach to break down food. And if I start to drink alkaline water, I am going to dilute my digestive strength. You know, so a lot of times we think, well, we can drink alkaline water, make the body more alkaline, but really, if you look into the science of it, that's not true. So I've been drinking it for almost 11 years. My whole family's on it now as well. Ben and me, our puppies. I mean, it's been amazing to see the results with animals, because animals are so sensitive. Like my dogs will not go and drink out of a bowl at a cafe because they don't see that as water. There's just poisons in there. But so it's been one of the most amazing things I've ever done for myself. And we're really lucky in Australia. We can actually get distilled water. There's a company called Refresh in Brisbane. And I can send you those details too. But if you just look up Refresh distilled water, you'll be able to get those details. And it's $11.50 for 15 litres. So that's something that anyone can do for a month and just see how different you feel. Like I just try it for a week, you know, and even if you have a filter system, I just don't think filters are good enough anymore, especially because we have fluoride in our water. And filters don't heat or freeze, so they actually almost turn into breeding grounds. And when you have to change your filter, you get that sludgy, horrible black filter. So the water quality, every time we use the filter, it gets worse and worse and worse. And for me, understanding that my body's 75% water, that is the number one thing that I would focus on every single day, is drinking the cleanest water possible and having at least 3 litres of water as well. So water's huge. I could talk about water for hours.
Yeah.
It's so amazing.
Yeah, I remember when you recommended for me to drink distilled water, and I did all the Googling, you know, to check up on it. And there was a lot of negative information on there, but I was like, stuff it, I'm just going to drink it, whatever. You know, it can't be more harmful than the medication that I was taking that was having quite harmful effects on my body anyway. And yeah, and I began to wash my face with the water as well, because I had a lot of acne. So Sarah had said to me, try and, you know, wash your face with the distilled water instead of the chlorinated tap water. And within a couple of weeks, I was noticing that glow in my skin. I'd never seen it since I was like, I reckon 11 years old, because I had pimples from, you know, 14 to 30. And yeah, the distilled water I've been drinking for 5 years as well. And, you know, I'm functioning well. I have so much more energy than what I used to have. And yeah, we get all the minerals that we need from eating a plant-based diet. So Sarah, tell us a little bit about, we've only got, I think, 10 minutes until it cuts us off.
What?
So we have to speed up a little bit.
Okay, go.
What does plant-based mean to you? Or
So
why did you go plant-based?
Yeah, so I mean, I read some really great books. The China Study, Whole, were really, really great books. Forks Over Knives is a documentary, or Food Matters. Just start to have a look around and see if something resonates with you, and get a book and start with some recipes. But the reason why I chose plant-based was the Gerson Therapy. And it just explained to me how poisonous and toxic dairy was, milk was. And being Swiss, it was very easy for me to give up meat, but it was much harder for me to give up cheese and milk and butter. My mum just said that was amazing. That gave you strong bones. And the more research I did, I actually realized how wrong that was, how it weakens your bones, how it causes a lot of inflammation in the body, how it's really not something that we should be consuming at all. And, you know, I think as soon as I stopped dairy, the mucus in my body just disappeared. And so that was a really great thing for me, because I suffered from those lung infections and I coughed up a lot of mucus. I would cough up and cough up and cough up mucus. I've never, ever experienced that again. And dairy is such an addictive, the casein morphines in there are very addictive. So it's a very hard thing to get out of the diet completely. And it's in all these different foods. It's everywhere. So, you know, even hummus, you get a pot of hummus and they've used dairy powder in there, milk powder to thicken it. So I really started looking at the back of all of the labels and the foods that I was buying. I bought as much whole foods as I could, because I truly believe if you buy something that looks like it came from the earth, it's good for you. As soon as man has touched it and changed it and turned it into something different and added salt and flavors and colors to it, there's probably a high chance that that's not going to be that good for you anymore. So I really started making all my own meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I stopped eating out. I was very lucky. I had Ben, my husband, who wanted to do the same thing. We vibed off making food together, which was, you know, a really great added benefit. And it was so fun creating all of these new meals, eating as much variety as possible as well. So for me, plant-based really is all about that. It's creating foods at home, eating as much fruits and vegetables as possible, eating as much organic spray-free foods as possible, not eating packaged processed foods. I'm not going to go out and buy biscuits that say vegan on them, because unfortunately, a lot of things that say plant-based or vegan still have e-products, chemicals, preservatives, are still wrapped in plastic. There's a lot of things that say vegan that still aren't healthy for you. So I don't even like to say vegan. I just like to say plant-based, organic, plant-based eater, and as much variety as possible. And I think everyone, if you are thinking about going vegan or you wanted to be trying plant-based, just start slowly, start adding in new things, and eventually the old things will go away. So find sources and find foods that you can use to replace and make really interesting plant-based meals that they're delicious. I mean, I love food, and I have a cafe and we make all our own wraps and breads and sauces and dips, and gosh, we make hundreds of different raw treats, and I love food and I love the taste of foods, but I never feel sick and I never feel bloated and I don't feel full after a meal. You know, I always say, if you eat a big meal and then you feel like you have to open your pants up and lie on the couch because you like just, oh, that was a good feed, that's really not how we want to feel. The body is just full and it can't do anything anymore. I like to eat a meal and then go for a walk, go climb a mountain. I want to have that energy. And I think plant-based foods for me really gave me that energy that was lacking.
Yeah.
Especially making my own foods as well.
Yeah, so for anyone watching that that is around the Sunshine Coast, Sarah's New Earth Cafe is in Coolum, and it's got absolutely amazing food, the best vegan food I've ever tasted. So if you are around, pop into that cafe. And I also wanted to say something about that, having a lot of variety in your diet. That is actually like a key recommendation that some top gastroenterologists recommend. So the gut health specialists recommend diversity of plants in our diet, and that is one of the biggest key indicators of having a like optimal healthy gut. So if you've ever heard of Will, I think his name's Will Buzzwise or something, and he's the Gut Health MD on Instagram. He's definitely worth following. He recommends a plant-based diet. and yeah, lots of diversity. So
yeah, if you look at primates, I thought that was so interesting. They eat up to 5,000 different things a week.
yeah, wow.
And then you open your fridge and you've got like, even me, you know, I've got my zucchini, my carrot, my beetroot, my cucumber, but I love to go to the markets, and we're very blessed here around here to have great markets. And I'm like, whoa, what's that? That's a different color. That's something new. And just adding in more, because every single thing, even where the food's growing, right? 2 different types of carrots can contain the same carrot. If it's grown in different soil, the soil's so deficient. So really diversifying and getting as much.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but we literally only have 3 minutes, and it'll cut out. I'm really sorry. I mean, yeah, it cuts out after 40 minutes. So
okay. Well, I hope this has been helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, change your water, start to add more plant-based foods, organic, spray-free foods into your diet. Do some self-love, guys. You know, you have to look yourself in the mirror.
It seems like everyone's really interested in what Sarah has to share. So I think, you know, we should look into possibly doing a follow-up interview with a little bit of key things that anyone wants to know a little bit more on. So Sarah's email is newearthcafe@hotmail.com. And
we have the website as well, newearthcafe.com.au.
So if you want any more information, they've got her and her partner Ben have retreats that they host on the Sunshine Coast, and there's a retreat. They're coming up soon. They filled the June, July ones, I think, but there's one in November that's got some free spots available. And also I offer health coaching. So if anyone is interested in some health coaching, then please email me. I've got a website, thewellbeingmovement.com.au. This is going to be up on YouTube. So anyone's email that was provided to me, I will send a link to this recording, and I'm sure Sarah will share it on her social media. But yeah, please be in contact with us if you have any questions. And
yeah, and I always reply to Facebook and Instagram as well, New Earth Cafe. I'm always so happy to help. Come in and see me. You know, it's all about helping each other, and there's so many things that we can do that don't cost a lot of money that we can just start to implement to feel better, because I just want everyone to feel awesome, to feel amazing. I'm 37, and when I was 22, I felt terrible. And that shouldn't be like that. So anything that I can do to support or to help or to, you know, point you in the right direction, I always really love sharing and doing that. Thanks so much for interviewing me, Tiff.
No worries. And yeah,
That's
like I said, it really, sorry?
Way too short.
Yeah, I know. Well, maybe next time we'll make it longer. You can get paid subscriptions to make them longer, but I just have the one that's 40 minutes. So,
same. Yeah.
What was I going to say? I think it's going to shut down in a minute.
Okay,
right,
thank you
guys.
all for joining. Reggie,
Thank
it was
you.
so nice to see you from Switzerland. So much
Bye.
love. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, nice. Thanks
so
tuning
much,
in, guys.
Sarah, for sharing all your knowledge.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, ladies.
See
you
ya.
later. Thank you.
See ya.
Oh, it's still going.
Oh, it's still going.
But it gave me a warning.
Less than a minute. Oh, well, let's...
I don't think it actually cuts out, because this happened to me at work and it continued on. I don't know.
Did you have more than one person though, Erin? More than 3 people?
Yes.
Yes, and you can use the link again and then just use it again.
Oh, really?
Works as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey, Ben, can you turn the light on?
We do that.
Well, it seems to be working.
Let there be light, Sarah.
Yeah, I felt like that was much too short.
I know. I knew 40 minutes would be, but I thought you had something on as well.
No, that's all good. Does anyone have any questions about coffee enemas or anything like that? Can you turn the light on for me?